So I'm just going to start off by saying I enjoy World War III. Even with all its issues, at its core, it is a fun game. So for those of you that remember that BF killer that came out a few years ago, yeah, this is that same game. After a rocky launch, the initial version of World War III dropped off quickly after its initial hype at being a true competitor to the Battlefield series. And after being bought out by publishers My.Games, Farm 51 have continued development and have now turned this into a free-to-play release. With that being said, the release for open beta should be March 2022, so we're not far off now, and currently the game is in closed beta testing, which is where this footage is from. If you do want to play it now, you can buy access into the closed beta testing for £11.39, but with it only being a few months to hopefully the open beta, you may want to just wait around. Get a little bit of an idea of what you're getting yourself into in a few months' time. So I'm basically going to be covering my personal issues and gripes with the game along with what this game does right, because I do think World War III is a special game. It has the potential to be in a very good place in the shooter market. So if it's done right and it's supported correctly, we could have a rather interesting game on our hands. Now let's talk about the negatives here, because there are two main negatives that come away from this game. The first of which being performance. Now, performance is usually something that I really care about. I like good frames, I like having smooth combat, and this game's performance is not it. That being said though, I do still enjoy it. I still enjoy playing the game even with its performance. As someone who's on a rig with a 3080 and a Ryzen 7 5800X, getting under 60 frames at times during firefights is dire. And when you're talking at competitors like Warzone and Battlefield, which do combat way bigger, way more players, that is concerning, as at its core, World War III is a 20 versus 20 shooter in tactical ops and 10 versus 10 in team deathmatch. But overall, something I want to see improved upon before the open beta and before the official release, in case this turns into one of those forever open betas that just kind of release into 1.0, is it a look at performance. Definite look at performance. The second of these issues is audio. The audio just seems to be in absolute shambles. Directional audio, effects just not wanting to play, audio just dropping out, random ghost sound effects. This game has it all. And along with that, the gun sound effects do sound a bit, just a bit of a letdown. They're not bad, they do the job, but they're nothing to write home about. And as someone that has played a plethora of free-to-play shooters in the past, audio, that kind of audio doesn't really matter to me, but I would like to see it addressed. But the directional audio, random effects playing when they shouldn't be, random effects disappearing when you should be able to hear them, that really does need to be looked into, as that ruins the immersion, that ruins a lot of people's enjoyment of the game, and being able to read situations just disappears with that lack of audio. Now, what does World War III get right? Gunplay. Gunplay is so good. I really like the gunplay in this game. Now, people compare this to a Battlefield game. To me personally, it feels more like a Tarkov Light. That slightly more hardcore experience, but with respawns. And the gunplay fits in line with that. A little bit more heavy recoil. You haven't to actually manage your recoil. In my case, I've actually found out that I prefer shooting in single fire because I can control the recoil way better while still putting out a decent amount of rounds, as the TTK in this game is not forgiving. It is hardcore. So if any of you guys are coming over from Battlefield, be prepared to die quickly. You will be dropped like no tomorrow. And along with that, the game modes do complement this. With Tactical Ops is a lovely development on the Conquest style game mode, where instead of having 6 points to fight over, each one gaining you points, it is broken down into 3 sections: A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1, C2. You need to own both of those points, A1, A2, for example, to actually gain points. And so there's this constant cycle between squads fighting over just the A points, the B points, running all the way around the map to try and capture another point. And I like the flow of it. It means that the pacing is focused around these objectives, and you can't stay stagnant when you just have the majority of points, because you may have A1, B2, and C1, but no one's capturing points then, and someone needs to push that, someone needs to make the move. And linking in with this pacing, the team synergy is there. You have players that can drop med kits, ammo, nades, armor, and that paired with easy squad leader commands makes it very simple and not forced to play as a team, which in more recent Battlefield games seems to be lacking. So it's nice to see us return to form of having synergy in squads. And along with all this, the visual style is clean. Is it anything to write home about? No, but it's clean, it does the job, and you can easily distinguish enemies from the backgrounds and the surfaces they are up against, which in recent years, with how the shooter scene has developed, visual fidelity hasn't always been there, and you get these more muddy games that care more about visual appeal and bloom than being able to actually see your opponents and be able to actually take fights on an even level, not because someone has a sun glare in their eye, which I tip my hat off to. And along with this, customization depth. Oh boy, the amount of customization you have with these weapons is insane. And there's a reasonably good choice of just base guns alone, which you have to grind levels similar to Call of Duty to unlock, and then the attachments, you have to actually use the weapons to unlock more attachments. So for you grinders out there, you have a lot to grind for, and this customization just gives all that depth to be able to make that weapon yours that little bit more. Currently in the closed beta testing, there are 4 maps so far for tactical ops, with smaller segments available for the 10 versus 10 deathmatch. And although that's not a huge amount, I like the variety, and of course with open beta around the corner, we'll hopefully be seeing a few more maps getting ready for the official release. Now, I did say that this is more hardcore than Battlefield, and that will be a turn-off for quite a few of these arcadey shooter guys. But if you can look past that and get into this game, honestly, it's a treat. It's a little gem. It's a diamond in the rough. It definitely it's a long way from being polished, but it is getting there. At the start of the video, I was saying that World War III has the potential to be in a very nice spot for the free-to-play shooter scene, and just the shooter scene in general. As I said, it's free to play, which is really good with the current Battle Royale offerings that we have, the letdown of AAA shooters that we've had recently, and the fact that even games like Halo's multiplayer is free to play. And so if the Farm 51 do develop this right, do care for this community, and do put the effort in needed to make this game good, this has the potential to fill a very nice spot, as there aren't many large-scale shooters available on the market right now. As the last one which really sparks my mind for the free-to-play industry are games like PlanetSide 2 and Battlefield Play for Free, which it's been a while since those originally came out. Along with that, you've got the Battlefield 2042 reject, and people that don't want to play BRs anymore. So overall, World War III is shaping up to possibly be a very interesting game. It's far from perfect, but what game really is in today's market? Look after yourselves out there. Peace out, toodaloo, and goodbye. Laters.